Welcome to the podcast, Operation Entrepreneur Freedom. Design a business that runs and grows without you. Our host, Chad Murray. Hey, everybody. Thank you for coming to Operation Entrepreneur Freedom's podcast. And I am Chad Murray, the hostess with the mostest here. Today's a very dear topic of mine. I'm actually starting a new coaching group that is solely focused on helping all the businesses out there, service companies around to start off with their sales. And if you read my hat, if you've known I've done this before, it's sales fixes everything. Well, it doesn't fix everything. It's a pun. It's a motto, right? And what that means is that if you start fixing your sales, it's going to make everything around you easier to invest in your own business, to get the time you want, the freedom. It's going to help you just build your business. So the first easiest thing to do with any service business, like I have done, if you're stuck at under $2 million or maybe even $3 million, maybe under $1 million, you just start getting better sales. And the biggest mistake I find, truly, the biggest mistake I find is the people that get you where you are not the people who are going to move you and advance your business through. And that's hard for us because we feel like we owe these people. You don't owe anybody anything. I will tell you, the second something comes along, for the most part, 98% of the people are with you, they will leave you in a second. Now, I know that's harsh. It sounds bad. It sounds callous. It's not. I'm not being callous by any means. I'm just telling you the truth. As a guy who's hired and been with and manages a very good culture, people come and go all the time. Now, of course, you have your core people, and these core people will not typically leave you. That's your 2%, right? And so I'm going to focus today on what it means to find better salespeople, because in the trades, in your service businesses, I don't care if you're a plumber, a landscaper, a painter, window washer, maid service, doesn't matter. Everybody, if you want to scale your business, has got to have a salespeople that are out there selling. And I mean, not doing the trade. Like if you're guys that I always like using window washing, even though I don't own a window washing company anymore. I did 29 years ago. And I went out and sold. And then I also taught my guys how to go out and sell, but they also did the work. As I leaned into the chimney business, I learned to separate sales from the work. Why? Because you want to get the right people in there to do it. And when you do that, it becomes to where you're scalable, because now you're training people just how to sell, just how to do the work, just how to manage, just how to market, just how to do the call center. Everything becomes easier as you departmentalize anything. So let's go down some history. Okay, so let's start with the easy one. Ray Kroc, and the McDonald brothers. What did they do? I mean, the milkshake salesman who outsold the founders. I mean, those guys that started McDonald's, the brothers, had a very nice McDonald's in California, and they really weaponized and developed how to give you a bagged lunch or a bagged hamburger with the French fries, a drink, and a burger, right? A quarter pounder or a Big Mac. They revolutionized that. They made it speed to market. For lunch, you just show up, order, and typically they can hand it right to you or whatever, which was great. Problem is, their ambition was pretty much just to stay right where they were locally. Ray Kroc, who sells milkshake machines, which was their milkshake machine guy, showed up one day and went, "Wow, this is awesome!" And his vision was big. It was bigger than the two brothers could even imagine. I mean, those brothers had no clue what someone could walk in there and do with their business. And whether you watch the story or the movie or not with Michael Keaton or whatever, you're going to look at Ray Kroc as a thief, as a crook or whatever, or a genius. He's probably a little mix of both, But honestly, I believe if you get to know the story a little bit better, had the brothers been on board with everything Ray Kroc was doing, they probably would have died billionaires like Ray Kroc did. but they decided to fight against him, and then he had to step out and make it into the franchising and do all that. But anyway, what did Ray Kroc really do? I mean, like I said, the McDonald brothers were brilliant in operations, but they had poor scaling or selling their model ideas. I mean, they just had no idea. They rejected franchising. They just completely rejected it. Well, Ray Kroc, he initially tried to sell the milkshake mixers and recognized potential, so he took over franchising, aggressively selling the McDonald's market to post-war Americans with precision nationalism and relentless enthusiasm, right? After Kroc stepped in, sales exploded across the states. McDonald's became a global fast food icon, and Kroc eventually brought out the brothers entirely. The brothers saw risk, Ray Kroc saw opportunity. It's the difference between an operator and a visionary salesman. So let's talk about this. You own a service company. You're the salesman. You're the guy doing the work. You're doing all this. What if you could bring in and you have the vision and bring in people who share your vision and can sell? You're talking about now your business can really, really start doing what McDonald's. And I'm not talking about franchising. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about right now. What is, in my opinion, what do most service businesses do? They send a technician to sell. And that's why they stay below $2 million. I guarantee you go find a $10 million anything in this trades and the services. You're going to find that they've separated sales from technicians. The production and sales are two different departments. Why? Because it works. It works. So, by the way, I don't know if you're watching me on YouTube, you see I have a boom lift now for my microphone. I really, really love it. I get to move around a little bit. It's fun, and so I'm really having a good time with my new microphone. And if you see me, you're gonna see me. I'm rocking around. And I'm bringing the mic with me, and I can sit back a little more. And so, but anyway, okay, let's talk about next. Here's another history lesson. Rolls-Royce. Did you know that Rolls and Royce are two different guys? There's Henry Royce and Charles Rolls. They were, engineering genius meets the perfect front man. So let's talk about this. He built dreams. I sold dreams. That's what Rolls-Royce, Charles Royce used to say. But here we go. Henry Royce was a master engineer, but he had no talent for marketing. His first vehicles were brilliant. Well, they're totally unknown. Nobody he didn't even know how to sell them. He just knew how to build an awesome car. Well, he partnered up with Charles Rolls, a charismatic aristocrat who sold the luxury and the liability of the cars to England's upper class. Rolls knew how to brand. He did racing cars, attended elite events, and linking Rolls-Royce to prestige. Within a year, the Silver Ghost was crowned the best car in the world. Sales skyrocketed, especially for the elite buyers, the rich people. And the brand became synonymous with what? Luxury and perfection. Lesson. The right salesman doesn't just close deals. He transforms perfection. Hear what I just said there. You bring someone in that doesn't just sell, transforms perfection. He literally turns your business around with a better philosophy. So, okay, here's another one. I don't know how to say this, guys. This is from the Middle Ages. By the way, how I get some of my stories and how I'll be getting a lot more stories is not only by reading books and listening to other podcasts, but I came up with this Chat GPT thing from my coaching group that they built that is a historical story finder. You can program Chat GPT to do so much. It's unbelievable. So they have a story finder. So I plug in my stories that I'm going to be talking about, and it gives me these historical things on the topic I'm talking about. How awesome is that? So again, I did a video just the other day on AI and I put it on YouTube. Man, go to my YouTube. Let's talk about that. Let's pause, stationary break here. I am Chad Murray. I am a sales consultant / business coach that will get your business going. Go ahead and go to my YouTube page, which is Operation Entrepreneur Freedom on YouTube, and go ahead and look me up. Look at some of my stuff, not just my podcast. And I'm taking on right now I have a new sales group that I'm doing that I'm starting, that I'm going to be doing, that is going to be a different coaching class that's going to really help build your business, starting with sales, and then we'll really rocket ship your business. And my guarantee is you will. You will. If you do everything as planned, you will start to doubling your business. I say within 90 days if you do everything, but you could do it faster. It could take you a year. It's all different from everybody else. But I will tell you right now, some of the tips that I'll give you and I'll show you in my new coaching program will get you. I'll tell you one tip I did, and I'll just tell you, I am literally the guy that that does his own products. I had a bad couple months coming up, and I needed to change my April at our chimney business. My April and May needed to be changed. So you've heard me say this in other podcasts, but if you're new to my podcast, welcome. And so here's what I did. I thought outside of the box. I didn't want to just hire salespeople. I wanted to turn over my whole sales team. Luckily, I didn't have to. Got rid of my number one sales guy though, because I wanted, and that was in mutual scenario. But we started looking for guys that had closed higher tickets, that knew sales. I didn't want to train anybody to sell. I wanted to fast forward and find people that could sell, pay them a smidgen more, and then just teach them what to sell. First guy I hired last year, in the whole month of May, we did 260 grand. This year, 450. And that guy alone did $250,000 his first month out. Why? Because he knew how to sell. I showed him the product and he went out and he did it. I'm not going to go on exactly how we did all that right now, but it is a process, and I will tell you, anybody can do it. And I promise you, you follow me and come work with me, I will do it. So let's get back to the podcast. Okay, so Ron Popeil, the in-house salesman who replaced retail. But wait, there's more. This guy. Okay, Ron's father, Samuel, he built the great kitchen gadgets, but relied on retail salesmen who couldn't convey the magic of the products. Ron fired the middleman and became the face of the business, inventing the infomercial and pitching products like the Vegematic and the Showtime rotisserie himself. His personal, repetitive, enthusiastic pitch was revolutionary. Sales results. Popeye generate are you ready? Guys, listen to this. And gals, $1 billion in sales selling blenders. I mean, really? All right. He changed how products were sold on TV, created psychological hooks that still are used today. Sell it and forget it, right? Study tie in here. This aligns with a 2003 Harvard Business Review study showing that sales success is 50% driven by the messenger's ability to transfer enthusiasm, not just the product. So think about that. You go hire a salesperson that's enthusiastic about getting out there to sell your service, possibly your products if you're a product service company like we are, and watch them make way more sales. And I'll tell you, here's the problem that I find one of the top 3 biggest problems of the service industry, the trades. You don't believe anyone can sell better than you, and you don't manage them to be able to do it. And you certainly, and this is the big thing, you don't hire people you think are outside your box. You hire people that want a job. You don't go find a career-minded guy or gal that can show up to a house and live off whatever they produce and sell. That is huge. We don't think that way. I do. That's how I'm changing my life at my service business. But you don't. And if you don't, or if you think you do, are you putting your money behind it? And are you actually going to find these people out there that have the skills to already sell big ticket items? I don't care if you're a maid service. If you have enough leads to give somebody a business where they could go out and make $150K a year, that's a career. That's not a job. A job is $40K. I'd say anything over $75K is a career. Go give someone the ability to make $75K, because if they can, or $100K or $200K, they're going to make you a ton more money. Isn't that what we're here for? Making a ton of money? We all want a good life, but making the money is where we want to get to. We want to do it easily. Why struggle and try to train everybody how to sell? Or maybe you don't even know how to sell. That's a whole nother podcast in its own. but find someone that does. Okay, now here's my last story. This is a good one. We all know this story. Maybe you don't know the story, but you know the company. Airbnb. Brian Chesky. He was struggling to sell rooms to hiring a sales pro coach. So our pitch was weak. Our model wasn't flawed. We were. Hear what I'm saying? What I just get done saying is early pain, or they were designers. They weren't sellers. Investors ignored them. They didn't even trust the platform. They struggled with selling trust in a stranger's home. The pivotal moment was they brought on Brian Graham. He didn't sell for them, but he taught them how to sell. He forced them into a door-to-door. He forced them to go door-to-door in New York City to recruit hosts that learn real objections. Later hired a proper sales team to design their brand bunch with coaching from venture mentors. So after hiring sales and focusing on the host trust, listings grew from 1,000 to 80,000 listings within 2 years. They cracked the international market and became a $1 billion company. Oh my God. $1 billion. Sometimes the problem isn't the product, it's the inability to sell belief. Hear what I just said? Did you not hear what I said before I started talking about Airbnb, Brian Chesky, and then Paul Graham? You have to believe. You have to go get the training. You're not going to just learn overnight how to be a better whatever you do. Because you got to go put the time in. You got to get a mentor, read a book, start listening to podcasts, start implementing what you learn. And I'll tell you, here's the craziest thing. Nothing I showed you that all these other people did was revolutionary. The owners just couldn't see through the forest to see what they're doing. Nothing is new for the most part. The way that they did it, someone else did it. They learned how to perfect it. They found the right people and they did the plan, whatever that might be. I'm giving you the plan right now. Start finding better salespeople and you'll start selling more stuff. It's that simple. Now, there's a whole process of how to do all that. And literally that is where it comes down to why I'm doing this podcast. So let's start with, where do you really begin? You begin at the me. That's you. Me. You have to start understanding and believing in yourself. And you need to start believing in other people. You're going to have to start believing that your business can do this. Everybody in your business is essentially probably a technician, or they have a back end, maybe they're a call center or whatever, but right there, you probably haven't made that leap to the separation of sales and production. I don't care if you're a window washer, you're a maid service, you're a plumber. I mean, well, plumber maybe not, but because you're there to fix the immediate problem. But most of the time, electricians, landscapers, painters, you need, salespeople. And a lot of times the window washing people do the same thing in this make. The maid services do this thing. Do not show up with the crews. Show up to sell and go through the whole process. So you need to have this mindset of, you're going to need to have this work on your business to be able to do that. And so how do you do it? Well, first is you got to be positive. PMA, positive mental attitude. So let's start talking about, you have to start talking the talk. Start talking to be positive. And when you're positive, you're going to really start feeling and changing the sales. You're going to start changing the company. I mean, literally, we literally brought in, a guy that knew how to close in my business. We hired him in March. Typically, to sell, you're going to train someone in the chimney industry 6 months to a year, maybe 3 months, maybe 3 weeks. But you're going to sell. You're going to put them in there a lot longer than most people. Like training to sell probably a garage door probably takes a week, maybe 2. But a chimney with codes and identifications and all this stuff you got to learn through sales, through inspections and blah, 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 and estimates, it's a little bit different. Well, we taught him the inspection process. We taught him what to identify, put in a process that he has to show a certified person. He's in the middle of getting certified now, but show somebody his work like we do with all our sales guys. show it before they show it to the client, the inspection and the estimate, and then we tweak it from the certified side and blah blah blah. Well, I brought this guy who he didn't even, I did not have to teach him how to sell. I skipped the whole thing of teaching someone how to sell. I don't want to teach anyone to sell anymore. Never again will I teach someone how to sell. I just got to teach them what to sell. So that was a mind shift in mind. I had to be positive about that, right? Scared, but positive, because I also had to pay him more. You know, this guy's used to making a ton of money, and I had to sell him on my business. This is a career, not a job. I'm not hiring you to do $40,000 job. I'm hiring you to make $100,000 to $200,000 career. Big mind shift change for me. I always, I should have paid 3 guys over 100K last year in sales. None of them made it because their performance pay was off because their mindset wasn't right. They weren't doing their job properly. They made it on paper, but they got points off, dollars off for not doing their job properly. That's performance pay. I'm going to pay you to do your job, and if you don't do it, I'm not paying you your full pay. That's how we do it. But anyway, but mindset is I want to find the right people that I don't want to teach to sell. So I did it. Last April, 2024, my business did 260K. Lost money, big time money. This year, one guy, which we're going to find more guys, brought in one guy, got rid of one guy, replaced my best salesman with another salesman that never knew chimneys for more than 6 weeks, got out there selling. My business did 450K. He did almost $250,000 himself his first month in a month that was 85 to 90 degrees, and it was in the fireplace and chimney industry. Wow. All right, so let's talk about mindset and positive mental attitude. So I got to get you there. So let's talk about water. Well, why, Chad, are we going to talk about water? Well, there's a study that I saw. I saw this on, I don't know, TikTok or Instagram or something. The study of water. They took bottles of water and they put half these bottles of water over in one room and the other half in the other room. And they decided to treat one of the bottle of water group nasty, played thrasher music, yelled at it, swore at it, treated it like real dog shit. It just really was mean to it. This is water. So we're not talking about a living puppy or something here. We're talking about an inanimate object, water. Then the other room, they loved it. They talked nice to it. They played nice music, sweet music. They even pet it. They kicked the other bottles in the other room, like kicked them, which didn't hurt it. It's water. But then they pet and loved and hugged the other water. How dumb, right? This is water. It's water. So after a certain amount of time, and I can't tell you, I don't remember if it was a week or a month or 6 months or a year. I don't remember how long. It doesn't matter. They went and took the water from each group and put it under a microscope. And guess what? The bad water, the molecules were all disorientated, like H2O, right? Disorientated, not in anything in any good normal way. It looked chaotic. It really, I mean, even though you couldn't see with a naked eye, the water, I'm assuming, I bet tastes bad. They never said that. I'm just going to assume that. If the water immaculate, it looks all messed up, I would assume it probably tastes like dirt. But anyway, the loved water looked like perfect ice crystals in perfect harmony and everything looked good. That's water. Everyone listening to me right now, you're 98% water. So if you don't think talking to yourself, telling how you project yourself, that's what's happening to your body. That's the actual, literally, think about this. You hear about positive mental attitude and you hear about mindset and what positivity means and what it does, but you've never really had a physical examination of what really can happen here. This was a scientific method to prove love and positivity, and it matters. So this ain't going every part of your life. If you talk better and you be better, you'll be better because your molecules just in your body will be better. I got another one for you. There was a guy that was diagnosed. This is a true story. He was diagnosed that he was going to he had cancer or something that he was going to be dead at Christmas. This is like summertime, so he had like 6 months to live, and he he literally was distraught over he was going to die. Which, I mean, who wouldn't be, right? I mean, I'm about to die. I got 6 months to live, and you can imagine through that 6 months your decline of health, and blah blah blah. Well, he made it to Christmas, which he thought was a miracle, but he did die in January. And it come to find out, they did an autopsy on him. Come to find out, he was misdiagnosed. He had nothing. There was nothing wrong with the guy. His positive, or not, his negative attitude to his body literally killed him. Now that's extreme, right? But I mean, think about it. I've been through anxiety. I've been through stress. It'll do stuff to you. Can you imagine if you're dying and you're misdiagnosed and you accept that? I mean, your body killed it. It can kill itself. So that's we want our mindset as business owners to know that we can do this. We can change our sales. We can make our sales better. We have all of the power of our own business to change. I don't care if you're an old dog, a young dog, you're $1 million business, a $500,000 business, or a $40 million business. You can change. I mean, you totally can. And you can move your model to better sales. So let's move on. So your mindset's there. So, okay, what do we do now? Well, you're probably going to evaluate your guys. So you're going to start helping your people you have right now, guys or gals, out in the field that are presenting and selling to make them better. So what you're going to do is you're going to write down your sales process. And that be how you train or how you want your people to do it. Either way, I don't care if you mix a little fiction because you haven't done it yet, but you come up with a process. And when you come up with a process, you document it. It's all written down. Or you record yourself like I'm doing here, and you write, and then just transcribe it from there and have it write a process down. Your sales process from literally when you call them on the way there to the sale to the rebuttals, everything in the middle, the presentation, and the follow up, the after the sale, everything you're gonna do that has to do with sales, everything, and you write it all down for a process, and then you perfect the presentation. So don't use just the clients before or their broken pictures to sell. Come up with an actual presentation of similar things that you went through the process of fixing, and show them the presentation of what's going to happen. Because a lot of people, like, let's just say, and I love the window washing deal, you're going to show up to wash windows. So I'm sure you show up, and you can imagine what this looks like. You show up and you walk around, you count the windows, and you look at the difficulty to give them a price. That's it. And you go give them a price. Well, that's not sales. I guarantee you, if I showed up, I maybe sat down at a table and I started discussing what you're going to do and what your process is to come up with this price, and then you spend 5-10 minutes at the table talking to them. So, okay, I'm going to go count the windows. Would you like to come with me? Is there anything I need to know, about other windows, any bedrooms I should not steer clear of, or just is there anything in the way? Blah blah blah. So invite them to come in to while you're counting and looking at everything, and here's where you start shining. You start pre-presentationing them while they're walking around with you. Then you go outside, you write it all up, you come back in, and then you go through a whole process of what it's going to take for you to clean and the windows, the screens, and then here's the thing that people don't get. Window washers do other stuff. They might replace screens. They might actually replace windows. They might do chandeliers. They might clean mirrors. I don't know. There's so much that you do, but I'll bet you your guys who tell you they are but aren't, they're not even doing half the stuff that you should be showing them. So you build it out so that you have that process, and then show them rebuttals, and you practice on rebuttals. So this is where you start. This is how it all starts to work. So that's your process of what you're going to do. So now we've got a process. We've got a presentation. Now we got to start having meetings. We got to train them and train them on all of it. And now here's the thing that a lot of service business owners just don't get. You got to have more than one meeting a week. You got to have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 every day. Doesn't matter. Have a meeting that is going to train hype up, tell everybody something went wrong, how to fix it. Just, you got to have communication in meetings, and you must go through rebuttals. You must role play. This is how you start building a team. You go to a car service dealership or a car dealership, right? Those guys role played every day. They had a sales meeting every morning, and they role played every single day. Now, I hate car salesmen, but they're very versed in sales. And if you ever noticed that in between, the car salesman never sells you anything, and they never sell you the car. They just show you a car, and then the car sells itself. But the sales manager now starts the sales process. However, that is their whole process, right? Show you the car, get your car appraised. It's a step by step thing, and they will not let you take control. They are in control. And then I bet you 8 out of 10 times you walk out with a car, a brand new car, right? Because that's what their process is to do that. A service business is no different. You have to do the same thing, and you got to start knowing your numbers. You got to know what your closing ratios are, what the average tickets are, what their sales per opportunities are. You start tracking this stuff. So you also got to know, are my guys any good in my niche? If you're a window washer, I keep saying, what's the national window washing average per house? What is the average per salesman? What is it? Are my guys above, below, or right on the line? These are the things. But I guarantee you, $10 million company has separated sales from operations for sure. And that doesn't matter if you're a maid service. I don't care if you're everything electrician, landscaper. You separate that out, and when you do, everybody starts really getting honed in on what they're paid to do, and everybody's there for a career, not a job. All right. So this whole process and everything that we're doing here is exactly how you're going to start scaling your business. This is the starter packet. This is what you're going to do. We got to build this stuff out. Okay. So if you're interested in starting to build out your sales process to get your mindset right, everything, give me a call. They'll be at the end of this, or in the notes of this will be a website you can go to, which is easy. www. You got to do the www. www.chadmurray.biz. B-I-Z. Chad Murray. CHADMURRAY.biz. And you can click on there. There'll be a button to find me and make an appointment with me. And then let's just talk about your business, how we can start implementing in your business. And so, guys, I really hope to see you soon, at least in the next podcast. If anything, make an appointment with me. Let's just see if you can get in I'm looking for founders. I need 10 founders for my new sales group, for a new sales coaching team, or not team, for a coaching thing I'm doing. I need 10. They are going to get very exclusive offers. What you want to know about that, I will tell you that if you call me up or set an appointment. I'll tell you what you get for lifetime with me if you come and join my new Operation Entrepreneur Freedom Group, which is going to be all about starting on sales and then how to run a whole business up to 5 million plus. All right, guys, well, that's my time. And hey, see you on the flip side.